This is Castor's second session working with the hose. So I've gone ahead and just turned on the water a little bit. And I went and got rid of the cone. So he was so good with the hose before, I didn't think he necessarily needed a start button. I could have kept going with it, but he does do fine without it. So this is going to be the rest without it. Um, I believe I do use a start button with Atlas. So but if you wanted to use it, you continue using it in the same manner. I just have the hose on the trickle now. So you could just have him target the cone and then present it with the hose just on this time. So I just have it going really slowly here. If you need to, you could probably slow that down even a little bit more. And then he's gonna target it. So same process we did before. I'm just gonna approach or have the hose come up and I'm gonna allow him to target it. And then instead of touching him with the hose, I'm gonna start touching him with the water. So a little bit different thing there, but you can tell like he's not super worried. He just wants to get as close to me as possible, which is a separate issue, but he's not afraid of the hose. So I'm just gonna go ahead and present it. That's excellent. Target it, and then I will feed him. So I just did this kind of out in my yard here, so I'm gonna make a little puddle, but it's not a big deal. So do this in a place where you can kind of make a puddle, or you can use a sprayer. So like later on you'll see me use the sprayer. That's probably the easiest thing to do. I probably should have started with that, but or you can bend the hose in half, that works too. So again, I should have been feeding him more consistently, so he's getting all these other behaviors in. So I would have fed a smaller treat and then presented the hose again and just make those loops shorter and cleaner, then I wouldn't have this problem. But right now, like, he's eating too big of a treat at once, so then he's like off and I'm taking too much time, so he's backing up, he's getting closer, he's doing all these things in between that I really didn't want. So but he is doing well with the lesson, but those are some things that I could definitely improve on. So like here, like he's already getting closer, and then he kind of backs up, he kind of doesn't, and he goes and backs up, and he's looking over here. You know, he has all this opportunity to do it in all these other behaviors. And Henry say this multiple times because this is kind of my problem at this point in time, but hopefully you can see this and not make the same mistake I did, because it's very annoying and frustrating because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't know what the issue was. I didn't know why he was doing it. So now I do. So hopefully I can have some help with some other people not have the same problem. So I'll let him chew on that. He's being good. He's trying to understand what I want, and I just haven't given him real clear direction here, so that's why I have that. He's actually standing really nicely right there. So hold this out, and I do want him to actually touch the water with his nose. That would be ideal. In the beginning, if he just touches the hose, like, that's okay if he does it a couple times, but I do want him to touch the water with his nose. So I just kind of sprayed his hoof, or not really sprayed, just let the water trickle on his hoof. That's my first step. So as the water's trickling on the hoof, then I'm going to click and then feed, and then I will just kind of work my way up. But I like to start on the hoof because, you know, they can feel it a little bit, but not as much as if I just sprayed them like on the leg. And it's just a good starting point. It's like there, he had it a little bit on his like pastern area. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a treat. That was excellent. I gotta run and get some more treats. So another issue that I've had was not bringing enough reinforcement with me. So again, that was nice. And then I'll go ahead and put a little bit on his hoof. So that was really good. Like if you wanted to, you could have rewarded him just touching it with touching the water with his nose. I went ahead and just put a little bit on his hoof or his pastern, and that was good too. But as I was saying, make sure that you have more reinforcement than you think you need, or bring some more closer with you. So like I brought not enough. Like I should have another pack ready to go, or a bucket or something outside of my pen that I could just grab really quick. It's not a huge deal, but for me it really got in the way of the training, because I'd be like, oh, now I'm running out and I'm in the middle of something I was working on, and that was the biggest thing for me. And as long as you have something to put down for them to where they have something to do and eat as you walk away, they should be fine. You don't want to just walk away and leave them with nothing either, because then they can be frustrated and then they'll be like, well, what did I do to make you go away? So you don't want that. That's negative punishment. You're taking something away that they wanted, and if they were doing something good, like a nice behavior before that, then you're punishing that. So you don't want that either. So it is important to have that reinforcement with you at all times when you're training, at least. And so I have some next to you as well. So I'll like fill up my bag now, or I'll fill up 2 bags and have another one, and then I might even have a bucket too as well. And it's a lot easier to just have too much than not enough, and if you don't use it all, you can put it back. So I'm just kind of letting him see it and then going ahead and putting it on his leg. And I'll fade that out as I go because I just want him to see, hey, there's water coming out, and then I'm gonna put it on my leg, and then like I'll start fading that away. So um, he doesn't really need that part, but that's I'm just kind of adding in that extra step of him like, okay, here's the water, and then I put it on his leg. But he has like no reaction whatsoever to the water on his leg, so that is fantastic. He'll really like that, and I mean, really, both of them learned this really quickly, so I'm really happy with the results of it. This is probably the fastest and best way I've cleaned or I've trained hosing a horse. I've trained it with native reinforcement in the past. Took a long time, and then my horse was still afraid of it. This I train in a few days, and it still sticks. Like it'll be like I sprayed them off in December because it was hot. It was like 80 some degrees, and they hadn't been sprayed off since like September, and they were fine. They were like, oh yeah, this is normal. Okay, I get a treat when I get to do this. Like they have good reinforcement history with it. So this is the best way. I really like this, and it worked really well with the Mustangs, and I did it at Liberty. So I have no complaints at all. But just those couple things of me making mistakes where I could have made it easier for Castor. But this is a good place. I like to start on the hoof, on the front leg, and then I would do this same process on the other side. And I kind of just work my way up to about where his leg meets his body, so right about the shoulder. That's where I'm going to work up to, and then I'll do the same exact thing on his front leg on the right side. And then you can see how well he's doing in the next video.